Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have part 1 of my book haul, so stay tuned. So I'm going to start this off already saying that I'm going to have to split this into 2 parts because there are 48 books here, and yeah, that would be a really long video. See Sasha's tail swishing around here. As soon as I said, hey guys, she came running. Anyway, I have, like I said, 48 books. This stack from here to here are books that came in subscription boxes, and from here down are books that I purchased at Books A Million. And then on this side we have from here to here are books that I either won from giveaways or that were sent to me, and from here down are books that I ordered online. So I think I'm going to start with this pile over here and do this for part 1, and then I'll save this pile for part 2. So let's start with the books that were sent to me. So the first 4 books here were all sent from the same person. Let's see. This was sent to me from Ariel. Her Instagram is Dark Rose Guild, and she sent me this cute little box set that she said she really enjoyed, but she needed to, or maybe it was, no, this is one she never got around to reading and just needed to move, get rid of some books because she was moving. This is The Box of Wizardry by Diana Duane. And the first book in here is So You Want to Be a Wizard. And they are like this size, like kind of like mass market size. This said, something stopped Nita's hand as it ran along the bookshelf. She looked and found that one of the books had a loose thread at the top of its spine. It was one of those So You Want to Be a books. A series on careers. So you want to be a pilot and a scientist, a writer. But this one said, so you want to be a wizard. I don't believe this, Nita thought. She shut the book and stood there, holding it in her hand, confused, amazed, suspicious, and delighted. If it was a joke, it was a great one. If it wasn't, ... And so we have, So You Want to Be a Wizard. Book 2 is Deep Wizardry. And book 3 is High Wizardry. And then in addition to those, Ariel also sent me Shadow Scale by Rachel Hartman. This is the sequel to Seraphina. And I do believe that I have Seraphina, but I think it's one of those books that's still packed up somewhere that I haven't come across. But I'm going to pull it up on Goodreads so I can tell you about it, because it's not one that I've actually read yet. Okay, so for Seraphina it says, in her New York Times best-selling and Morris Award-winning debut, Rachel Hartman introduces mathematical dragons in an alternative medieval world to fantasy and science fiction readers of all ages. 4 decades of peace have done little to ease the mistrust between humans and dragons in the kingdom of Gored. Folding themselves into human shape, dragons attend court as ambassadors and lend their rational mathematical minds to universities as scholars and teachers. As the treaty's anniversary draws near, however, tensions are high. Seraphina Dombeg has reason to fear both sides. An unusually gifted musician, she joins the court just as a member of the royal family is murdered, in suspiciously draconian fashion. Seraphina is drawn into the investigation, partnering with the captain of the Queen's Guard, the dangerously perceptive Prince Lucian Kiggs. While they begin to uncover hints of a sinister plot to destroy the peace, Seraphina struggles to protect her own secret, the secret behind her musical gift, one so terrible that its discovery could mean her very life. So thank you again, Ariel, for sending me these. Next up I have Starvation by Molly Finnig, and this was actually sent to me by the author, and she did actually write me a little note inside, and it says, I hope you enjoy reading this as much as I enjoyed writing it, and she signed it. This says, 16-year-old Wes McCoy is not the favorite child. He does not have a wrestling scholarship to Stanford, nor does he live up to the family legacy as an athlete. Unlike his brother Jason, But when Jason dies in a car accident on the way to the state high school wrestling championship, Wes turns to food to give him the control over his life he didn't have before, and the kind of success he never tasted. Told through alternating past and present chapters revolving around Jason's death, Wes comes to terms with more than Jason's death. There's Kalia, a defiant girl who introduces him to the painful pleasure of starving, and there's Colin, Wes's best friend, who speaks in Shakespearean insults and with whom his relationship is irreparably damaged. But most of all, Wes must take back control from his eating disorder as he learns more about himself and the mystery surrounding Jason's accident before he loses his life and those closest to him. Next was a gift that was sent to me by Kaylani. We were doing one of our after hours live shows where we were ridiculously drunk, and we all started book shopping for each other, and this is what she bought for me, and that was Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. And I've heard so many good things about this book. Everybody was talking about it for a while, and I just really wanted to read it. This says, "We were meant to be seductive. We were designed to lure humans in. Fortuna Sworn is the last of her kind. Her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family or species to speak of. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. The bleak pattern goes on until she catches the eye of a powerful fairy. He makes no attempt to hide that he desires Fortuna, and in exchange for her, he offers something irresistible. So Fortuna reluctantly leaves her safe existence behind to step back into a world of creatures and power. It soon becomes clear that she may not have bargained with her heart, but her very life." And then my friend Barbara, she's part of my little buddy read group, she actually sent me Swapped by Tamara Ireland Stone. And this is the sequel to Clicked. This is a middle grade series. Clicked is about a girl has created this app where you can it's like a friendship app, and you see who you would click with, and it's going great and everything, but then it ends up revealing things that it's not supposed to reveal and getting into people's personal pictures and things like that, and it's causing issues. And she has to rely on her arch nemesis to help her figure out what's going on with this and fix it, even though he's competition in this app development competition. And then last but not least, I actually have two of these. I don't know how this happened, but this is part of Novels Couch Fest, and it was just a little competition thing that I entered, and I won 2 copies. Well, I think I just won 1 copy, but somehow I got it sent twice, of The In-Between by Mark Klein. So I'm probably going to use this as a giveaway in the future. The book comes out June 2021. This says, a heartbreaking story of love and loss, perfect for fans of If I Stay and 5 Feet Apart. After bouncing around in foster homes for most of her childhood, 16-year-old Tessa Jacobs doesn't believe she deserves love. Not from her adoptive parents, and certainly not from anyone at school. But everything changes when she has a chance encounter at the local movie theater with Skylar, a senior from a neighboring town who's a true romantic. Their budding relationship quickly leads to the kind of passionate love you only see in the movies, and Tessa starts to believe she might be deserving of a happy ending after all. When tragedy strikes, Tessa wakes up alone in the hospital with no memory of how she got there, and Skylar has passed away. As Tessa begins her relentless search for answers, Skylar's spirit reaches out to her from the other side. Desperate to see him one last time, Tessa must unravel the pieces of their relationship, and the truth might even lead her into the afterlife itself. This sounds like it's going to be heartbreaking. I feel like there was another book that somebody sent to me, but that might have been something that was in last month's haul. I can't remember. Anyway, on to the books that I purchased online. Now you can only see down to right here, but there are 4 more books past this point. Okay, so this is the box set of Wildwood Chronicles, and it looks like that. These look super, super cute. Let me pull them out. They are thick too. Oh my goodness. So we have book 1. I think this is book 1. Hold on. I gotta make sure I'm telling you the right order. Okay, so we have book 1, which is Wildwood, and it looks like so. This is, let's see how long this is. 541 pages. And this says, Prue McKeel's life is ordinary. That is, until her brother is abducted by a murder of crows and taken to the impassable wilderness, a dense, tangled forest on the edge of Portland. No one's ever gone in, or at least returned to tell of it. So begins an adventure that will take Prue and her friend Curtis deep into the impassable wilderness. There they uncover a secret world in the midst of violent upheaval, a world full of warring creatures, peaceable mystics, and powerful figures, with the darkest intentions. And what begins as a rescue mission becomes something much greater as the two friends find themselves entwined in a struggle for the very freedom of this wilderness, a wilderness the locals call Wildwood. And then book 2 is Under Wildwood. And book 3 is Wildwood Imperium. And these all are just so pretty. Okay, next up is Honor by J. Crownover. And this is part of the Breaking Point series. They kind of work as standalones, but they like follow different characters that are like mentioned in the other stories. This one says, "Don't be fooled, don't make excuses for me. I am not a good man. I've seen things no one should, done things no one should talk about. Honor and conscience have no place in my life, but I've fought and I've survived. I've had to. When I saw her dancing on that seedy stage in that second-rate club, I felt my heart pulse for the first time. Keelan Foster was too young, too vibrant for this place, and I knew in an instant that I would make her mine. But first I had to climb my way to the top. I had to have something more to offer her. I'm here now, money is no object, and I have no equal, except for her. She's disappeared, but don't worry, I will find her and claim her. She will be mine. Like I said, don't be fooled. I'm not the devil in disguise. I'm the one standing front and center." And I know who these characters are from the one that I'm reading currently called Dignity. I think this one is actually the first in the Breaking Point series, and that's why I got it. But I'm really enjoying the one that I'm currently reading, which I think is the second book. So I wanted to get more. Next up we have Dragonswood by Janet Lee Carey. This says, "In the enchanted woodland with the prince shall wed a fairy child, dragon, human, and fairy, their union will be bound by 3. Tess and her friends Meg and Poppy, like many on Wild Island, wonder if the old song holds a prophecy. Here the royal family has dragon's blood in its veins, and after the death of the old king, the uneasy pact between dragons, humans, and fairies is fraying. Matters become worse when Tess is accused of witchery, and the 3 girls find themselves running for their lives. Not even Tess's ability to see the future can help them as they set off on their desperate journey. But as she keeps having visions of a man wielding a sword, and when she finally meets him, Tess has no idea how to handle the magnetic attraction she feels for him, or the elusive call she hears from the heart of Dragonswood. In this epic romance, an ancient prophecy comes true in a way neither dragon, fairy, nor human would have predicted." And it looks really pretty to me. Next up we have Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. This says, "When Clara Gardner learns she's part angel, her entire life changes. She now has a purpose, a specific task she was put on this earth to accomplish, except she doesn't know what it is. Her visions of a raging forest fire and a mysterious boy lead her to a new high school in a new town, but provide no clear instruction. As Clara tries to find her way in a world she no longer understands, she encounters unseen dangers and choices she never thought she'd have to make. Between the boy in her vision and the boy in her life, between honesty and deceit, love and duty, good and evil. When the fire from her vision finally ignites, will Clara be ready to face her destiny? Then we have All We Have Left by Wendy Mills. This one says, 2 girls, 2 lives, 1 event that changed them and the world forever. Now, 16-year-old Jessie is used to living with the echoes of the past. After her older brother died in the September 11 attacks, her dad filled their home with anger and grief. When Jessie gets caught up with the wrong crowd, one thoughtless decision turns her life upside down. The only way to make amends is to face the past, starting Jessie on a journey that could reveal the truth about her brother's death. Then, in 2001, a 16-year-old Alea is a proud Muslim. It's life as a teenager that she finds challenging. After being grounded for a stupid mistake, Alea decides to confront her father at his office in one of the Twin Towers. But when the planes collide into the building, Alea finds herself in danger she never could have imagined. As the flames rage, she has no choice but to trust a boy she's just met and hope they have enough time to make it out alive. And I think this is going to be one of those, like, really hard to read books, because I remember the whole 9/11 attacks very, very, very clearly. We lived in upstate New York at the time, and Marty was in the Navy, and that was a very, very scary time. Okay, next up we have Wires and Nerve Volume 2 in the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. This is a graphic novel, and I had the first book, so I wanted to get the second book, so yay. Then we have, oh, and if I didn't say, this follows Ayu, I can never remember how to say her name, Aiko. She is the, like, android in Cinder, like, she's Cinder's friend, and this is kind of like her story, so yeah, I'm really excited. I love the Lunar Chronicles series, so I wanna have these as well. Next up we have Nice Try, Jane Center by Leanne Ulk. And this says, recently expelled from high school, Jane Center grudgingly enrolls in community college. A situation made slightly more bearable when she joins a student-run reality show. House of Orange is her chance to start over and maybe even win a car. Used, but whatever. And no one there knows what she did in high school. What more could she want? Okay, maybe a family that gets why she'd rather turn to Freud than to Jesus, but she'll settle for using HOO's growing fan base and whatever Intro to Psych can teach her to prove to the world, or at least viewers of substandard TV, that she has what it takes to win. Told in Jane Center's fresh, funny, and surprisingly poignant voice, Leanne Ulk's debut novel is both unpredictable and unforgettable. And I have heard people, like, I haven't talked about it in a while, but I have heard people talk about this and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to reading this. And then probably one of my most anticipated books, that is House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland. I have read Crystal Sutherland's other 2 books, Our Chemical Hearts and A Semi-Definitive List of Worst Nightmares, and they were both 5-star reads for me, and so I'm super excited to have this one from her as well. And this says, Iris Holo and her 2 older sisters are unquestionably strange. As children, they disappeared on a Scottish city street, only to return a month later with no memory of what had happened to them or where they'd been. More troubling, their appearance began to change. Their blue eyes now black, their dark hair now white. And as they grow older, odd, eerie occurrences seem to follow in their wake. People find them disturbingly intoxicating, unbearably beautiful, and inexplicably dangerous. Now, 17-year-old Iris is doing all she can to fit in and graduate high school on time, something her 2 famous, glamorous, globe-trotting older sisters, Gray and Vivi, never managed to do. But when Gray goes missing, leaving behind bizarre clues as to her whereabouts, Iris and Vivi are left to find her, but they aren't the only ones looking. As they brush against the supernatural, Iris quickly realizes that the story she's been told about their past is unraveling, and the world returned them seemingly unharmed 10 years ago might just be calling them back again. Darkly seductive, this twisty modern-day fairy tale by critically acclaimed author Crystal Sutherland is a gripping and terrifying journey. Readers will not be able to look away. And this seems like a very different kind of book than her other two books, but at the same time, like, I'm like preparing myself for all the feels because she's giving me all the feels in her other two books. So I'm so excited to read this. Okay, next up is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Man, this book is thick. But it is told in like multimedia kind of format and like crazy things like this. I really enjoyed Illuminae and I wanted to continue the series, so I picked this one up. And Illuminae is... okay, so it's like a sci-fi thing, and this planet has been attacked and evacuated, and then the people that managed to survive the attack and get evacuated, they're now on these 3 different ships, and apparently there was also a plague on this planet that's been brought onto some of these ships, and there's all that going on, and then there's a crazy AI that starts trying to kill people, and it's really good, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, this next book is a heavy book. Oh my goodness. It is, let me see how many pages it is. It's over 900 pages, but it is so heavy. That is, hi Katniss. 1,000 books to read, a life-changing list. Oh wait. 1,000 books to read before you die, a life-changing list by James Mustich. So heavy. I don't know why this is so heavy, but I'm excited to like read through this. Like, I want to kind of read through it like a little at a time and try to make my way through some of these books that are listed in here. I'm excited to have this. And let's see, this says, oh geez, encompassing fiction, poetry, science, and science fiction, travel writing, biography, children's books, history, and more. 1,000 books to read before you die. Moves across cultures and through time to present an eclectic collection of titles, each described with the passion readers summon when recommending a book to a friend. The expected pillars are here, including Jane Austen and Toni Morrison, Virgil, Dante, Dickens, and Tolstoy, Franz Kafka, and Simone de Beauvoir. Their works made fresh through the author's animated essays. Established classics are joined by new and unexpected choices like Citizen and Friday Night Lights, A Visit from the Goon Squad, and The Pillow Book of Se Sonagong, The Day of the Jackal, and The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. The result is a treasury of essential reading for expansive tastes. The book's alphabetical listing by author's last name results in the serendipity of juxtaposition. Cormac McCarthy's The Road next to Robert McCloskey's Make Way for Ducklings. John LeClaire next to Ursula K. Le Guin next to Harper Lee. Following each entry are rich endnotes that include publication dates and preferred editions, other books by the same author, related books to try, and lists of worthy adaptations, including movies and audiobooks. In total, more than 6,000 titles by 3,500 authors are recommended. A miscellany of special lists at the end of the book offers the reader surprising entry points into the collection, such as Read in a Sitting, including The Little Virtues by Natalie Ginsburg and The Third Man by Graham Greene, and Offbeat Escapes, including Freya Stark's The Valleys of the Assassins and Felice Benuzzi's No Picnic on Mount Kenya. For the truly dedicated reader, there's a There's a long climb, but what a view. A perfect way to describe those mountainous texts we long to scale, such as Proust's In Search of Lost Time and Shelby Foote's The Civil War. An insightfully curated personal compendium that will inspire hours of browsing and a lifetime of reading. 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die celebrates the gorgeous mosaic that is our literary heritage. And also, here are these end pages. They're so very pretty. And then, oh, the book looks like so. And my battery is flashing, so give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry if there was an angle change. So we only have 2 more books remaining for this part. So the next book here is another book that I pre-ordered, and even though I pre-ordered it, it didn't come until May because I ordered it along with another book and said that it could wait until they were both ready to be shipped because it was another book that was pre-ordered as well. And this one is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas, and this is a Peter Pan retelling. I can also show you, I don't know where the pen is, it's way over there. I did get some prints for pre-ordering, and I also got an enamel pen, but as I said, it's like way over there. This says, when children go missing, people want answers. It's been 5 years since Wendy and her 2 brothers vanished into the woods near the small coastal town of Astoria, Oregon. Wendy returned with no memory of where she had been or what had happened to her. Her brothers did not. When the town's children start to disappear, the mystery around her brothers is brought back into the light, and the police are once again knocking on Wendy's door for answers. Attempting to flee her past, Wendy almost runs over an unconscious boy lying in the middle of the road. Peter, a boy she thought lived only in her stories, asked for Wendy's help to rescue the missing kids. But in order to find them, Wendy must confront what's waiting for her in the woods. So excited. I love a good retelling, and I'm very, very, very excited for this one. Okay, so the other book that I pre-ordered and why this one had to wait is one that with the pre-order, it actually came signed and with a signed book plate by several of the authors because it's an anthology. And that is That Way Madness Lies, 15 of Shakespeare's most notable works reimagined, edited by Dahlia Adler. And I'll show you the signatures here. And let's see, this says, a midwinter dance in a gem, a cast party amongst the stars, an ode to a fallen rap legend. Contemporary audiences have always craved reimaginings of William Shakespeare's classic works. Now today's best writers for teens take on the bard in these 15 whip-smart and original retellings. And we have Kay Akram does The Taming of the Shrew, Melissa Bashardouse does The Winter's Tale, A.R. Capetta and Corey McCarthy do Much Ado About Nothing, Joy McCullough does King Lear, Samantha Mowbray does Macbeth, Marco Shiro does Twelfth Night, Lindsay Smith does Julius Caesar, Dahlia Adler does The Merchant of Venice, Lily Anderson does As You Like It, Patrice Caldwell does Hamlet, Brittany Cavallaro does Sonnet 147, Anna Marie McLemore does A Midsummer Night's Dream, Tochi Amabuchi did Coriolanus, Emily Wibberley and Austin Seguin Broca did The Tempest, and Kirsten White did Romeo and Juliet. And I'm really excited to read this. I know recently Kayla from Books and Lala has read this and she gave it 5 stars, so I'm really, really, really excited to read that. Okay, so that's all 23 books that I'm doing in this part, and we will save the other 25 for part 2. Have you guys read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye! Bye, Kenny.